the win. Go to Ocean Casino Resort. Book your trip at theoceanac.com.
He's blocked well and tries to cut through the middle. Oh!
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on Sports Grid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on Sports Grid.
The Sports Betting Show wants you to get in on the action with Underdog Fantasy. And if you want to build your dream team today for this weekend, use their easy mobile app or website, underdogfantasy.com. And right now, for a limited time, when you sign up with the promo code WIN, Underdog will double your first deposit of up to $500. That's Underdog Fantasy promo code WIN.
Welcome to the Sports Betting Show. I'm the Philly Godfather from the phillygodfather.com. We got a jam-packed show for you guys today. We got Dave Mason from BetOnline coming on a little later in the show. We have the legends of sports betting right here. We got Matt Maltepis, one of my lead handicappers at the phillygodfather.com. We have the Philly Rooster, the guy that brought me into this business almost 40 years ago, and Jimmy the Sheep Batista, the living legend. You've seen him on the front page of almost every newspaper in the country. You've seen him on Netflix. And there we go. We lost him already, Rooster. We lost the Sheep already.
And the fun begins. Here we go.
It'd be nice if he paid his internet bill, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
It's always Jimmy, man.
Guys, we got Jamie Gold's not going to be on the college football show. He's having some issues as well. Hopefully he's back on the NFL show. But let's get right down to business, man. We got a jam-packed college football weekend. There's a lot of important games we got to talk about. Let's go to this Washington Huskies game at USC. They're laying 3. The total's kind of high, in my opinion, Rooster. It's at 77. So far, 65% of the tickets have been placed on Washington, and 75% of the tickets are on the over. Do you like anyone in this game, Rooster?
Yeah, well, this game opened. USC was a favorite, 1.5. All those issues with USC and, talk about the quarterback not playing and all kinds of different stuff. The game flew to 3 the other way. I missed the number. I would have loved to take 1.5 on this game. Then when it went to a pick, I said, it's not going to move anymore. I didn't lay a pick. Then it went to 2, and I said, no way, it's going to 3. And boom, it went to 3. So I just missed the boat on this one. The sharp money is on Washington. All the square money's on Washington. Everything's on Washington. So I'm just going to sit back and watch this one and enjoy it.
Does that worry you a little bit when the sharps and the recreational sports bettors out there are on the same side? Usually that's a recipe for disaster, isn't it?
Well, it's a recipe for disaster for somebody, either the books or the bettors. As we know, even the squares can pick 50% of the wins. I mean, in the old days, all the public money being on one side meant a lot more than it does today. There's too much information out there. Everybody is read up. There's no dead squares anymore. Very few. But Baba, that's a compliment to you.
Yeah, but I just give out winners. Unlike you, Clemson last week. Another one. Woo!
Yeah. But yeah, this one, all the money's on Washington.
Excuse me. The only way this Washington game goes sideways if Goldilocks teases it. Then it's going to. If Goldilocks teases Washington,
Jamie Gold when he's not on the show, it's not fair.
Not here to defend himself.
Yeah, come on now. You know that. You're doing better than that.
I'm not. Listen, he teases everything. Name a game he don't tease.
Let me go to Matt Maltepis from the College Kids, one of my lead handicappers at the phillygodfather.com. Matt, Washington offensively, they rank 2nd in yards per play, 3rd in yards per pass attempt. USC high scoring offense, 4th in yards per play, 8th in yards per pass attempt. The total's at 77. Do you like a side or a total here?
So yeah, USC comes in this game 2-7 against the spread, negative 7.2 against the spread plus minus. Washington's 3-4-1 against the spread. You've had 4 common opponents. Both teams are 4-0 against those teams. Both teams neck and neck in strength of schedule. But to me, the difference is when USC bursts, that tougher competition in Utah and Notre Dame, they folded. The Huskies, when they were confronted with their top-notch competition, they versed Oregon, and they put up 36 on that tough defense. I mean, that Oregon defense is 100 times better than this USC defense. I'll tell you that. This USC defense, they've been horrible all year. So, I mean, I have to lean Washington. I haven't bet anything, and it's such a high total. I don't like betting these high totals at 75, 76. You said it was at 77 now. Earlier today, it was 75.5, 76. I mean, I leaned over. They're
betting over like they got tomorrow. Yeah, they got the following day's newspaper. And like you said, they're 8-0, Washington. Their average margin of victory this year has been 19.75 points. But like over the last 4 weeks, I mean, they beat an Arizona team by 7. That game was closer than the final score indicated. They beat Oregon, but that was a game. I mean, they could have lost. They should have lost. They beat an Arizona State team by 8 points, and then they beat a Stanford team that's 2-6 on the season by 9 points. But that game going into the fourth quarter was 28-26.
Yeah.
I don't want to say they've struggled, but they've kind of underperformed in the market in 3 of the last 4 weeks.
What? Arizona has played pretty damn well, though. If you look at Arizona, I mean, they beat Oregon State, Washington State. They went neck for neck OT with USC. They lost to Washington, obviously, right? And they went to OT with Mississippi State. So, I mean, they've had a harder, schedule, and they performed pretty well despite losing 3 games. Arizona is still a, tough team to beat.
Yeah, and at face value, Washington looks to be the better team, top to bottom on the roster. Both quarterbacks are lights out. Right now, Michael Penix is plus 280 to win the Heisman. He's the favorite. USC's defense hasn't, they're not scaring nobody. One of the worst in college football. But something about this line, about this game, scares me a little bit. I don't know if it's my intuition or not, but let me go to Rooster real quick. When you get a feeling like that, do you lay off a game, or you just strictly go by what the numbers are telling you?
I lay off it because every once you'll see a game where, the line just does not look right. A ranked team at home against an unranked team, and they're only 3-point favorites. Happened 2 weeks ago. It just scares me off it because there's something in that line making process that it just doesn't seem right.
All right.
What scares me off the total real quick? Just
hold that thought 1 second, Matt, because we got to go to our next segment. We'll be right back after this commercial break. Come right back.
Go for the win. Go to Ocean Casino Resort. Book your trip at theoceanac.com.
He's blocked well and tries to cut through the middle. Oh!
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on Sports Grid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on Sports Grid.
The Sports Betting Show wants you to get in on the action with Underdog Fantasy. And if you want to build your dream team today for this weekend, use their easy mobile app or website, underdogfantasy.com. And right now, for a limited time, when you sign up with the promo code WIN, Underdog will double your first deposit of up to $500. That's Underdog Fantasy promo code WIN.
Welcome back to the Sports Betting Show. I'm the Philly Godfather from the PhillyGodfather.com. And we're breaking down the Washington USC game. Matt, you want to continue on what you were talking about before the break?
Yeah, I was just saying there was talks about Caleb Williams sitting. So that was another thing to think about. I mean, if Washington gets a huge lead at first, jumps out the gate against this, USC defense that isn't good, it's interesting to see what happens and see if the players, how they react and the coaches.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, something about this game just is off to me. If the game gets to 3.5, I might be looking to take USC, as bad as their defense is, at plus 3.5. I think this could be a shootout. I mean, the total is at 77, and Washington is the better team, but something about this line just doesn't irk me the right way. But let's change the subject real quick. Let's go to the championship odds. We've been talking about these teams each and every week. Michigan right now plus 240. Georgia at plus 240 to win the championship. Florida has dipped down to plus 600. Ohio State at plus 700. looks a little appetizing to me. Washington at plus 1,500, even though they got 3 tough games lined up for them. And Alabama's coming on strong at plus 1,500. Texas at plus 1,600. Rooster, we've been talking about Alabama over the last couple of weeks, and we've seen those odds drop. At plus 1,500, you think that's the best price on the board out of the teams I mentioned if you were going to bet a team right now to win the national championship?
Yeah, I like them more at plus 22 to 1 2 weeks ago. But yeah, I still think there's some value there, plus 15 to 1. I like them a lot this week versus LSU. They win that game, and they're going to be a one-loss team, let's face it. And a one-loss SEC team that's been competitive all year and getting better, the committee's going to love that. And we know the ratings for Alabama. They want them in there. They don't want to happen to them what just happened to the poor MLB, where about 8 people watched the World Series games. I mean, it was embarrassing. But, yeah, I like Alabama plus 15 to 1.
Yeah, it's a good price there. I mean, if they can beat LSU, then they got to go to Kentucky. I think they can beat them. And then they play Chattanooga at home. But Auburn, last game of the season at Auburn's never easy.
That's always a tough game.
It's always a tough game. But it all comes down to this week, like you said, against LSU. If they can win that game, they might sneak in. Let me go to Matt Maltepis from the College Kids. Matt, out of all the teams I just mentioned, if you had to pick a team right now at these prices, which one would it be?
So I actually talked about a couple of weeks ago when we were on the show about Ohio State. Talked about them. I think they were 16 to 1, 17 to 1. I forget the number. But, I mean, Ohio State, they got Rutgers, Michigan State, Minnesota, and Michigan left. The last game is the game you got to worry about against Michigan. But, I mean, they already beat Penn State, which was the biggest win, and Notre Dame, and they proved their worth. I still
they did get lucky against Notre Dame. I mean, that was a close game, man.
Well, that one was an even game. That game was even both ways. If you look at the box score, I mean, I think that game should have went to OT. I think the score should have been 17-17, but I believe Notre Dame missed a field goal. So, yeah, I mean, Ohio State, they performed well, but another team I like, especially 16 to 1, I have a future on them from before, is Texas. I mean, they have Kansas State. I think they win this week, laying 4, 3.5, depending on the number you can get. I think they win. I think they cover. Then they versus TCU. Not an easy game. The problem is you want to watch out with Texas going on the road. That's the part. TCU, Iowa State, games that maybe they overlook. But, yeah, I do think they take out Kansas State here.
Rooster, I mean, if Texas and Alabama both end up with one loss on this season and Washington or Florida State trips up, now obviously Ohio State, Michigan, neither team can go undefeated. One of them's going to have one loss. Who do you put in? Do you put in Texas or Alabama at that point?
Both big market teams. I mean, they look at a lot of factors. I think at this point it would probably be Alabama, but it'll be close. They have layers of tiebreakers, but of course they're going to lean Alabama if they can.
What were you going to say, Jimmy?
I said it's not even a question. They want Alabama in the playoffs. They need it for TV. I mean, if it's them in Texas, it's Alabama. Well, we don't have to worry about Penn State. That's a good thing.
Yeah, somebody was on Penn State. Who was on Penn State?
I was blinded.
You're blinded.
You know what's
by a fake coach.
Listen, listen, I ain't gonna bust your balls. It happens to everyone. Like, look at last week. So.
What, did you get killed last week? You're being nice to Rooster Sheep? What's going on here?
I'm very upset with the Redskins last week.
He didn't give out any games. I can't even. I go to see what Baba gave out. He doesn't give out any games, so there's no way he can lose.
Because you don't listen. You talk too much.
After 40 years of doing this, he figured it out. If you don't give out any games, you can't lose.
Well, maybe you should start doing that because you won't. I can just tabulate your losers. Oh my God, he's 1-5. He's 1-6.
You texted me 1 week. 1 week you gave me the games. You were 0-4.
And how was my NFL? And my college was good.
Yeah, but listen, at plus 600, Florida State. I mean, they're laying 21 against Pittsburgh. Then they come back at home and they got to play Miami. They'll probably be laying double digits there, right? Then they play a weak North Alabama team and they finish on the road with Florida. Doesn't that entice anyone here? Florida State?
Yeah, Florida State. They played awesome. I mean, their defense is starting to play a little bit better. Offense obviously has been sensitive. It's crazy. They're a second half team. Every time, like, they might be close in the first half, but that second half they always just take it away. I mean, we saw that from the first game of the year against LSU, where I think LSU was actually up 17 or 14, and then that second half. And those are the teams you got to watch for, the teams that show up when it really counts in the second half.
Yeah, and let me go back to Sheep. Sheep, you can get a better number on Georgia now. You took 220 at the beginning of the year. I mean, you get 240 right now. Why wouldn't you bet them again? I mean, they got the softest schedule in college football. Who are they going to play? They're going to play Missouri. They're 15-point favorites there. Next week at home against Ole Miss. It might be a tough game, but they're 13-point favorites there.
It's 1 week at a time. I already have a position on it. I'll stay with my position, but I'm not going to. Listen, each week their defense is getting stronger and stronger. And
they looked good last week. They looked good last week.
They did. And listen, I was on Florida. I thought Florida was going to show up and give them a game, and it wasn't even a question. Georgia, like, oh my God,
Jimmy,
really good. Yes, Matt.
What do you think about that Georgia Missouri game? You think Missouri has a shot? Is a big dog?
I mean, if anything, you know what? I would probably like him in the first half because it seemed like Georgia is, as the games, they start out always slow recently this year. First quarter takes them a while to get their engines turning. By the second quarter, so I think if anything, any position in the game, I would like Missouri in the first half. If I didn't bet it, but if I had to look at the game raw, I like Missouri in the first half. But then after that, I think Georgia now needs to continue to make a statement because of these other teams that are with one loss is trying to get into everything, into the CFB playoffs.
Rooster, you know what to do, right?
Oh, yeah. I've already done it online as we speak.
Right now.
Yeah. I just thought it was interesting. Carson Beck, I mean, he hasn't really played any truly good defensive lines this year. Missouri's ranked number 23 in sack percentage, and the average rank of Georgia's opponents in sack percentage would rank out to 93rd in the nation. So
they ever played? I mean, the best quarterback they played was the kid from South Carolina. What's his name? Rattler. Their opponent quarterbacks haven't been that strong. I don't know about that team. I think they're getting stronger. Carson Beck looks better each and every week, but to me, they're still a little suspect. All right, let's move on to the current Heisman odds. Michael Penix, obviously, at plus 270, and he should have a monster game this week against a bad USC defense. So he should put up some big numbers. J.J. McCarthy's at plus 300. Jaden Daniels at plus 400. I mean, he's got a 91.8 QBR, 25 over almost 2,600 yards on the season, 25 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. Bo Nix, he's at plus 600. And Marvin Harrison Jr., the guy that we gave out a 50-1 before the season started, he's down at 10-1, Rooster. You think they're going to give it to wide receiver this year?
I think it's possible. With Williams bailing out, basically. I mean, Penix looks great, but if he has, let's say he has a bad game this weekend, I mean, I would say Harrison's right up there at that point. He's unbelievable. He's Megatron. He's a mix of Megatron. He's got some TO in him. He goes over the middle. I mean, this kid's unbelievable.
We got to go to our next segment. We'll be right back.
Go for the win. Go to Ocean Casino Resort. Book your trip at theoceanac.com.
He's blocked well and tries to cut through the middle. Oh!
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on Sports Grid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on Sports Grid.
The Sports Betting Show wants you to get in on the action with Underdog Fantasy. And if you want to build your dream team today for this weekend, use their easy mobile app or website, underdogfantasy.com. And right now, for a limited time, when you sign up with the promo code WIN, Underdog will double your first deposit of up to $500. That's Underdog Fantasy promo code WIN.
Welcome back to the Sports Betting Show. You're listening on Sirius XM Sports Grid, and you're watching us live streaming it on X, on Twitter, at Philly Godfather, and we're on YouTube at JAKIB Sports as well. We're talking about some Heisman odds. We're talking about Marvin Harrison Jr. with Rooster, if he's got a shot at 10-1, if a wide receiver can actually get that trophy this year.
Yeah, I'd love to see it happen. Let's make it a real, MVP type race here instead of just giving it to quarterbacks like the NFL does. Obviously, I like them a lot more at 50-1, but I think there's still some value at 10-1.
Yeah, he's got to be the best player in college football, right? I mean, best athlete, most physically talented. I mean, he's going to be one of the better wide receivers being taken in the draft. I mean, who's better than him, Rooster?
Absolutely nobody. Definitely not Penix. I mean, Penix is good, but he's no Andrew Luck looking prospect. I mean, there is none of them anymore. You get one a generation. So I think he's the best player in college football.
Yeah, I think so too. All right, let's bring on Dave Mason from Bet Online. We'll talk a little bit about the sharp money, where the recreational sports bettors are at this week in college football. Dave, what's going on, brother?
All good. How you guys doing?
Good, man.
What's
How's
up,
the weather
Dave?
down there? How's the weather?
Weather, a little cloudy right now. Yeah, it's rain season, so we get a bunch of rain. It's not only rain season, but October is usually the rainiest month. So we got the light at the end of the tunnel. Another December starts clearing up and getting more sun, but I don't mind it because it cools things down. It doesn't rain all day. So a couple hours, few hours, whatever. Deal with it.
It's a shame because me, Rooster, and Sheep used to go down there all the time. But these days, we need permission slips from our spouses to shoot down.
Parent permission slips. I got you. If you ever get them signed, let me know. Send your sons down here. I mean, you get down here, Matt. Send them out on a mission.
Hey, I don't mind. I don't mind.
There you go.
I love the woman over there.
Leave those old heads up there, man. Don't worry about them. They go to bed at 8.
Oh, man. All right, let's talk a little bit college football. LSU at Alabama. I think the line's 3-61. Is there any sharp money on the side or on the total? What are the bet splits and the ticket count?
Yeah, we got at Bama currently -3, 61.5. Open tied -4.5 and 62. The money split 54% is on the tide, but 72% of the bettors are on Bama as well. Sharpest two-way at 3. Nothing. A little bit of a conflicting sharp action.
Yeah, it's a tough number. It's right there, right?
Right, exactly.
Yeah. All right, let's go to the next game on the board. The Hurricanes laying 5.5, total 44 at NC State. Which way is the sharp money betting it, and which way is the public betting it?
Yeah, we're at 5.5 and 44. Open 3.5 and 45.5. 64% of the cash and 60% of the bettors are on Miami. Sharp on Canes -4.5 and a little bit under 45. Yeah, a little bit under 45.
Now, when it comes to the offshore market, do you guys come out with the numbers first? Are you guys coming out there first with that number?
Yeah, I think, man. It's such an arms race now. I mean, we did for years, but there's so many books now, and it's like such a darn arms race. You know what I mean? Like we were consistent for years. I mean, we're still one of the first, sometimes the first, but it's not as consistent as it used to be, without a doubt. Because, like I said, some of these newer books are just, putting stuff up so early. So, kudos to them. It's only good for the bettors. I'm not going to be one of those guys that says, "Oh, you should only bet online." You guys know you need outs, man. Have a darn account 4 or 5 for different books and take advantage of whichever has the best line and whoever opens first and a little bit soft. So, but more often than not, yes, but not always like it used to be.
Yeah. And what's the difference between the amount of the bet you'll take early in the week compared to on game day?
Yeah, I mean, shoot, let's talk like college. I think it opens a dime, and then when the market stabilizes, go up to like 3. Then game day, you're up to, for a spread, you're up to 30,000. So it just increases throughout the week.
Yeah. Oh, well, make sure you guys check out Bet Online. All right, let's go to the next game on the board. Penn State. I think the game opened to 10.5. It's down to 9. Total of 51 at Maryland. Which way are they betting this one?
Yeah, Penn State, we got an 8 and 50.5. Open, 9.5 and 50.5. Cash is 50-50. 60% of the bettors on the Terps. Sharp Maryland +10 and over 49.5.
Next game up, Bruins laying 3 and 51 at Arizona. Which way are the Sharps betting this one?
Yeah, UCLA -3 and 51. Open, Bruins -2 and 52.5. 57% of the bettors on Arizona, but 55% of the cash is on the Bruins. Sharp Bruins -2.5 and under 53.5.
Now, Rooster brought up a good point about the World Series. Two teams that a lot of people didn't want to see in there. I mean, what type of handle did you have in the World Series this year? Was it less than normal, more than average? How'd you guys think
it was decent. It's always good, right? But if the Phils were in and the Phils Astros, it would have been more. It just wasn't a very sexy World Series. I mean, the action was good. We have really good baseball offering, so we always get good baseball action. But Phillies Astros the action would have been more. So whatever is what it is.
All right, let's go to the next game on the screen. Washington Lane 3, and the total is up to 77, I think, at most spots at USC. How are they betting this one, Dave?
Yeah, we got it 76.5, open 3 and 77. 57% of the cash is on USC, 63% of the bettors on Washington. Sharp on USC +3.5, but really good action. That'll be one of the biggest bet games of the day.
Okay, that's then the final game we're going to talk about is Notre Dame. I guess they're Lane 3, total 45 at Clemson. Which way are they betting this one?
Yeah, we got Notre Dame 3 and 44.5, opened Irish 3 and 44.5. So a little bit of moving back and forth, but back to where we started. This will be the most bet game of the day. I mean, well, it's the most early action, that's for sure. 63% of the cash and 73% of the bettors are on the Irish. Sharp on Notre Dame -2.5, Clemson 3.5. A little bit on under 45, a little bit, not too much.
All right, I want to thank you for coming on for the college football show. If you want to let everyone know where to find you on social media and any promo code you guys got going on at BetOnline AG.
Yeah, man. On Twitter or X, whatever we're calling it these days, at Dave Mason BOL. Coming over to betonline.ag, hit up the promos page for all the bonus codes. We have 50% welcome bonus and 100% if you're using crypto. Again, all the promo codes and terms and conditions on betonline.ag/promotions.
Thanks, brother. Thanks for coming down. And as soon as we get those permission slips signed,
get them signed.
We're coming to see you.
Matt will forge them, man. It'll be a reversal thing, and
I'm going regardless, Dave. I'm going regardless.
All right, bud.
Yeah, but
in high school,
no promises I can stay up late though, Matt. Man, I'll send you on your way. I'll just point you good over there. Stay away from that street.
That's why we're going down to babysit Matt.
That's right. Chaperone. You'll be the chaperone, sheep. Sheep the chaperone.
Oh no, we're gonna get in some trouble.
A sheeperone.
Yeah, that's if they let me back in the country, Matt.
You guys will be banned for life. All right, man. Thanks for coming on, Dave.
All right, guys. Talk later. Bye-bye.
See you, Dave.
He's the best, man. Make sure you guys check him out on Twitter. Dave Mason at BetOnline AG. All right, let's go. Let's talk about we got some time here in this segment. LSU at Alabama, lines 3, 61. Total opened up at 59.5. It's moved a little bit. Line has dropped from 4.5 from the original opener. Let me go to Rooster first. Rooster, who do you like here, man?
Roll Tide. I like Bama here big. I think they cover this game easy. They got their act together. They're ready to go. Defense is playing strong. Offense has gotten better throughout the season. I like Bama a lot here. I already laid 2.5 -20. I think this game will creep back up with some sharp money. I mean, they banged it down to 3.
You think that was manipulation? You think that was market manipulation, or you think that's a sharp position there at +4?
I think they probably knew 4 was a good number and was going to come down a little bit. It's probably some sharp money, but like I said, I think it'll creep back up at game time.
Sheep, you like anybody in this matchup?
I hate to say it, I agree with Rooster, but
let me write that down.
The only reason I think the college football needs Alabama. They need another name in the playoffs, and I think they'll do everything they can to get Alabama in there. I mean,
Matty, we got about a minute.
It's all about TV, boys.
Matty, we got about a minute and a half left. Who do you like here, man, in this game?
This one's, I mean, they both had some of the most difficult schedules in the nation. Both ranked top 5 in my rankings in terms of strength of schedule. They've had 3 common opponents. Alabama's 3-0, LSU 2-1. The LSU offense is good, by far the best offense that Alabama's going to face all season. But at the same time, this is the best defense that LSU is going to face all season. So it's going to be a close one. It's hard to go into Tuscaloosa, Saban territory, and win. But I'm leaning LSU with the 3, man. I think the total's a little bit higher, and I think I can't see that Alabama offense keeping up with the LSU offense. So yeah, I lean LSU plus the points.
All right, let's talk about our sponsor, UnderdogFantasy.com. That's UnderdogFantasy.com. Right now, if you use promo code WIN, that's WIN, and sign up, they'll match your deposit up to $500. So that's UnderdogFantasy.com. Use promo code WIN, and they'll match your deposit up to $500. Going back to this Alabama game, I mean, I think it's a coin flip. If you can grab anything over, that key number of 3, if you can grab some plus 3.5, if it gets there again, that's probably the right side here. I mean, this is probably the best offense Alabama's faced all year. Now, Alabama can still win the game and make the college football playoff, but it doesn't mean they're going to cover the spread. Like I said, this offense on LSU, they can put up some points. But we're going to go to our next segment. Don't go nowhere. We'll be right back with some more legendary college football moves.
Go for the win. Go to Ocean Casino Resort. Book your trip at theoceanac.com.
He's blocked well and tries to cut through the middle. Oh!
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
The Sports Betting Show wants you to get in on the action with Underdog Fantasy. And if you want to build your dream team today for this weekend, use their easy mobile app or website, UnderdogFantasy.com. And right now, for a limited time, when you sign up with the promo code WIN, Underdog will double your first deposit of up to $500. That's Underdog Fantasy promo code WIN.
Welcome back to the Sports Betting Show. I'm the Philly Godfather from the PhillyGodfather.com. We're breaking down some college football games. We had Dave Mason on from Bet Online. Before we break down some more games, let's talk a little bit about odds to make the playoffs here. Michigan last week was minus 195. They're down to minus 175. Georgia was minus 190. They're up to 220. Florida State was minus 175. Now they're up to minus 270. Ohio State went from plus 120 to plus 105. Washington went from plus 125 to 145. Alabama was at plus 400 2 weeks ago. Last week they were at plus 300. Now they're at plus 270. Texas was plus 320. Now they're down to plus 220. And Oregon went from plus 450 down to plus 155. Let me go to Rooster first. If you had to pick one of these teams right now to make the college football playoffs at these prices, who would it be?
I'm going to go with Oregon. I mean, Oregon has really impressed me. They are playing defensive ball. I think this team's better than the Chip Kelly team. These guys are playing some serious football, and I like them on both sides of the ball right now. And they play great special teams. They're a three-phase team. So I know it's only plus 155 now. I wish I gave it at plus 450 because I've liked them for a few weeks now. But yeah, I lean Oregon here.
And they should have beat Washington, right? I mean, Washington got lucky to win that game.
They took 4 or 5 different things to happen for them to win that game.
It was like a 5-team parlay, hitting a 5-team parlay for them to win that game. Let me go to Matt Maltepis from the College Kids. Matt, at those prices, which team you think you would nibble on right now?
So I'm kind of like in Texas plus the 220. I think LSU has a shot to take out Alabama, and I think Texas wins this week. So with that being said, I think 220 is not bad. If you're looking for
whose dog is that? Is that your dog, Sheep?
It's a sheepadoodle. What do you say? He heard
sheepadoodle.
He heard Al Clucko talking. He goes crazy. I said, "Yeah, Toby, that's Al Clucko."
We can't get him right here. Oh my God! Sorry to interrupt you, Matt. Go ahead, man. Sorry.
Well, if you're looking for a big dog, big long shot. I mean, I think LSU plus 750. I mean, if you want to throw a couple dollars on it, I think they run the table. And I think they run the table convincingly. And I think a Bama win will be big. But that's just an outside chance. I really do like Texas plus 220.
Yeah. Ohio State's tough because, like you said, they got to play Michigan, laying 2-1 on Michigan, and they got to play Ohio State. I think Rooster's on point there. There was a big move on it's down to plus 155. That's probably the team to bet right now, or maybe Alabama, but they got a tough game against LSU. All right, let's break down some games. Notre Dame's laying 3 at Clemson, total of 45. Let me go to Rooster first. Rooster, who do you like here?
I've been on Clemson. I was on them last week. I mean, they are tough to beat at Memorial Stadium. I think they're going to give Notre Dame all they can handle here. This is going to be a war. Clemson wants this game bad. They're obviously not playing for the playoffs like they usually are at this point, but they want to show that they're a real deal team. And, like I said, at Memorial Stadium, they're tough to beat. I like Clemson here. Give me the 3.
Yeah, I mean, you can just ask Florida State. They were lucky to come out with an overtime victory in a game where Clemson had more first downs, more, I think, total yards. They won the time of possession battle by 9 minutes, but it was that turnover that killed them, and those turnovers have killed them all season. But at home, like you said, Clemson's really tough to beat. Let me go to Matt Maltempis from the College Kids. Do you like anyone in this matchup?
So I didn't touch this game, but, we look at Clemson. They've had 4 losses. They lost to Duke. They lost to Florida State OT, which is a close game. Miami OT, double OT actually, and NC State. But when we look at their wins, it's a weekend comp. You have Florida Atlantic, Charleston Southern, and then you had Syracuse and Wake Forest. Notre Dame, common opponent, Duke, they beat them. They beat USC. They didn't just beat them, they crushed them by 28. They beat NC State that Clemson just went to OT with. So in the common opponent category, Notre Dame beats them, and they went neck for neck. They could have won that Ohio State game, like you pointed out earlier, and they just crushed Pittsburgh by 50. I think the Notre Dame team is strong. The only thing I don't like is going to Clemson. That's the problem, like you just talked about. I haven't touched it yet, but make sure to follow us on Twitter, and we never know. We might give something out at TCK_experience.
Sheep, you just heard Rooster break it down. You just heard Matt Maltempis from the College Kids break it down. Who do you like here?
I like the team that wants to get into the college football playoffs. I'll take a shot with Notre Dame. I think Clemson's done for the year. They have nothing to play for.
Yeah, but it's tough, man. Go down to the stadium. It's never easy winning down there. Florida State's one of the best teams in the country, and they got lucky to come out there with a W. That's a tough one, man.
Clemson they're playing for the Barney Bowl. Face it, they have nothing.
They still got a lot of pride down there, man. Come on, this is going to be a tough game.
It's going to be a tough one.
You're not. Listen, when you're used to going to the college football playoffs every year and getting in the national championship as they were, and then all of a sudden, holy shit, we're not going nowhere this year. Where Notre Dame, they're hungry. They're not letting the gas up on nobody. So I'm going to go with the hungrier team.
And then this is the test, because after they have Wake Forest and Stanford, which they should win both of those games. This is their final real test. And it's not an easy one. It's not going to be an easy one, but I definitely see your point.
Who would you rather think of the thing? Who would you rather have in the playoffs? A Notre Dame or Alabama or
Rooster? No, baby.
Maddie, remember this segment next week. So when Rooster's crying again, 3 weeks ago was Penn State this, Penn State that, Happy Valley and everything. And
Jimmy, you keep your own recap every week. Don't worry, I don't have to remember.
Jimmy's just worried about Goldilocks is teasing every week. Yeah, you can't. All right,
Babad just likes Georgia. That's all he likes. That's the only thing he's given out the whole year is Georgia.
And guess what?
And he's like, that's like you're like 2-6 against the spread this year.
Yeah.
And Rooster, you have to remember one thing: they win.
What do you like in LSU, Alabama, Babad? Oh, I like Georgia.
Georgia minus 7.
I'll give you the Goldilocks recap for me right now. I'm on Michigan State plus 3.5. I am on the Crimson Tide minus 3, and I'm against your Penn State wannabes. I'm on Maryland. Plus 10.
Before we give out some more picks, let's talk about. I want everyone to go to underdogfantasy.com. That's underdogfantasy.com. Use promo code WIN. That's WIN, and they'll match your deposit up to $500. That's underdogfantasy.com. All right, let's break down the UCLA Arizona game. UCLA's laying 3, total 51 against an Arizona team that could be. I mean, they're 5-3, but they got 2 overtime losses. They could be 6-1. I think the wrong team's favorite here. Rooster, how do you feel about this matchup, man?
I feel the same way. Arizona's 7-1 against the spread. I mean, this team is strong. UCLA is weak. They can't beat anybody.
Yeah.
Like as soon as they play a decent team, they fall apart. They're kind of like the Cowboys.
Oh,
I mean, this is unbelievable.
The NFL show.
Wrong show, Rooster. Wrong
Arizona. Arizona. Give me Arizona.
Jabs. All he does is throw jabs. He's been throwing jabs for 40 years.
Steve, hold on, Steve. There's a reason why. You only listen. If Andy Reid's playing, it's the Chiefs. If the Eagles are playing, it's the Eagles. He don't care about any other NFL team. It's just 2 idols.
No NFL talk. We got like 5 minutes left on this segment. Let me go to Matt Malteps from the College Kids. Matt, I don't know about this one, man. Is UCLA, is their defense that good to be laying 3 on the road against an Arizona team? That's pretty great.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, Arizona, Rooster pointed out 7-1 against the spread. It's the best against the spread record in the nation. And I think they've had a harder strength of schedule in my rankings compared to UCLA. So, I mean, they've been tested by a lot of different teams, and they haven't lost in a game by more than 1 score, despite versing top-tier teams such as Washington, USC, and Miss State. They also have wins over Oregon State and Washington State, 3 common opponents. I mean, they're 3-0 against those common opponents. Meanwhile, UCLA's 2-1. If you can get 3 on Arizona, I mean, you got to go with the dog here. USC loves to run the ball, but stopping the run is exactly the strength of the Wildcats defense. They rank number 25 in opponent yards per rush. So, I mean, I like UCLA here. UCLA has a new QB at the helm the last 2 weeks. They benched more. But last week, I mean, we look at Garbers.
Those guys have been throwing a lot of picks this season. Both
that's the thing.
Garbers, they've thrown 10 interceptions on the season. And in a game that's 3 points or less, I mean, the team that makes the mistakes are going to lose this one, man.
Well, yeah, Garber threw an interception last week against Colorado, and Colorado isn't Arizona. Totally different teams.
So you like Arizona here?
I do like. I love Arizona. Yeah, plus the 3. I like Arizona.
You like them on the money line?
Yeah, I mean they got a shot. If you want to, touch the money line, that's not a bad idea.
Rooster, you think you're going to kiss the money line in this matchup?
Absolutely. I may not even take 3. I'll just take the money line. I think, like I said, I agree with you. The wrong team's favored here.
Take the plus 3 in the money line. Bet each and every way, huh?
We're going to bury this game.
Just don't put it with the teaser, and then you're going to do it.
What I was going to say is we're going to bury this game as long as Sheep's not on the same. Sheep, are you on the same side here?
No, I have no opinion in the game.
You know, opinion.
He likes George.
He likes George.
All right, Matthew.
All right, real quick. We got a couple minutes left. We got about 3 minutes left in this segment. Penn State's laying. I mean, the line's down to 9, 8.5 at some shops, 51 at Maryland. Rooster, I know you were big on Penn State all year. You think they can cover this big number on the road?
I kind of like Maryland here on the road. At Penn State, the winds are totally out of their sails. Their coach has been completely exposed. He has no idea what he's doing. You got to like Maryland here. I don't even think Penn State's going to play hard.
Matt Malteps for the College Kids. Do you agree with him?
So Maryland's coming off of 3 straight losses, but I think this is actually a solid matchup for Maryland. I mean, Penn State's more of a run team than a pass if you look at the percentages, and Maryland's ranked number 10 in opponent yards per rush. Penn State's great stopping the run, ranking number 3 in the nation as well, same metric, but all Maryland does is pass the ball. They rank number 16th in the nation in passing play percentage. I think this is where the Penn State defense, that's where their weakness is not stopping the run, but stopping the pass more so. Yeah, I mean, you got to lean Maryland plus if you can get 10, that's all, you got to take the 10, just like we were talking about.
I mean, Penn State's defense is solid, but they've been extremely lucky in the turnover margin. They're at plus 13. I think it's the best in the country. And their offense just isn't explosive. I mean, let's be honest. They can't. It doesn't seem like they come up with those big pass plays, and against a pretty good Maryland team that's hung around with some tough teams this year. I think 10 points is too much. I think Maryland's the right side, plus 10, especially in the sandwich game. I think Penn State's playing Michigan next, so that's it might be looking ahead a little bit. Sheep, you agree with us, or do you like Penn State?
I already shot my load on Maryland. I grabbed a 10.
You bet them?
Yeah, I did, and I like them after that Fugazi Penn State team last week, laying 31 and almost lost.
Barely beating Indiana. Yeah.
Yeah.
Come on, something's not happening in Happy Valley right now.
All right, I want everyone listening and watching the show to go to underdogfantasy.com. That's underdogfantasy.com. Use promo code WIN. That's WIN. Promo code WIN, and they'll match your deposit up to $500. That's underdogfantasy.com. And stay tuned. We'll come right back with the final segment, and we'll give out the Sheep recap.
Go for the win. Go to Ocean Casino Resort. Book your trip at theoceanac.com.
He's blocked well and tries to cut through the middle. Oh!
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
The Sports Betting Show wants you to get in on the action with Underdog Fantasy. And if you want to build your dream team today for this weekend, use their easy mobile app or website, underdogfantasy.com. And right now, for a limited time, when you sign up with the promo code WIN, Underdog will double your first deposit of up to $500. That's Underdog Fantasy promo code WIN.
Welcome back to the Sports Betting Show. You're listening on Sirius XM Sports Grid, and you're watching live on YouTube at JAKIB Sports Media and on X at Philly Godfather. I was just joking around about the Sheep recap because he only gave out one game this week, Sheep. I mean, we talked about like 10 different games, Rooster, and Sheep gave out one side.
If you listen, you got that Jamie disease. What are you going to start teasing too, Steve? Come on. I gave out Michigan State plus 3.5. I like the Crimson Tide -3, and I took the Terps plus 10. Three games in college. 3-0 keeps the doctor away.
I hope so. I mean, if you can pick up one position a day, you're gold. Roosters, any other games you'd like on the board this week in college football you want to give out before we close out the show?
I kind of like Duke against Wake Forest at home. Game opened 7. I think some sharp money took Wake Forest plus 7. But at -6.5, I kind of lean Duke in that spot.
Yeah, I'm on the other side. I took Wake Forest plus 7. I mean, the whole world's betting Duke here. I talked to Dave Mason offshore. I talked to some guys out in Vegas. It's like 8 out of every 10 tickets placed is on Duke, and I never want to be on the public side. Matt, before we close out the show, is there anyone you like here you want to give out?
Yeah, I like Arizona plus the points, and actually like the money line. I like Missouri actually this week. I mean, if you can get 16 right now, if you might be able to catch plus 10 first half, I'm kind of with Jimmy on that one. If you catch plus 10, -120, that'd be great. And Texas -4 is another one. And I'm leaning. I was looking at this Miami NC State game. I was leaning under 44.5. So I haven't fired on it yet, but I probably will be.
I got a question for Rooster to close out the show. Rooster, if you're holding Michigan plus 9-1 tickets from the beginning of the season, are you looking to hedge right now with Ohio State at 7-1? Trying to hedge that ticket or not?
I think it's a little too early for hedging. I mean, they got to get into the playoff, obviously. And with all the turmoil in Michigan right now, I don't know what's going to happen, although they're saying nothing can happen this season. So, yeah, I think I'd wait. I think it's a little too early to hedge.
I want to thank everyone for watching and listening to the Sports Betting Show on X at Philly Godfather, on JAKIB Sports Media on YouTube, and you're listening on Sirius XM and Sports Grid. Have a great day, guys, and keep firing.
Go get them.
Go for the win. Go to Ocean Casino Resort. Book your trip at theoceanac.com.
He's blocked well and tries to cut through the middle. Oh!
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on Sports Grid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on Sports Grid.
The Sports Betting Show wants you to get in on the action with Underdog Fantasy. And if you want to build your dream team today for this weekend, use their easy mobile app or website, underdogfantasy.com. And right now, for a limited time, when you sign up with the promo code WIN, Underdog will double your first deposit of up to $500. That's Underdog Fantasy promo code WIN.